us, they need us, they need us. We are the children.
He's a dynamic filmmaker with honors and awards from his filmmaking skills and dedication. His visionary movies, storytelling, and filmmaking statements are aroused by compassion for any subject or issue. He is also missionary with a directorial stamp in Trafficked-Africa. Trafficked-Africa earned this very filmmaker top honors at 5 out of 14 film festival circuits. He also bagged the Baltimore International Black Film Festival Audience Award, New York Kwanzaa Film Festival's Best International Feature Film, Best Actress Award at the Knysna, if I'm right, Film Festival, South Africa, and gained award of recognition at the Accolade Film Festival and IndieFest. However, this filmmaker will also examine the social ambience of a Township Dream Documentary, which he screenplayed and directed for Artsy Lens Studios, his own studio. He featured a young South African guitarist, soul, jazz, and R&B musician and singer, Yonelisa, Wambi's Life, Love, and Music, Jato Ehijator. Welcome on FilmTalk from FilmLab Nigeria, a We Entertainment production, Lagos. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, and I do appreciate.
Okay.
You're making me feel a little bit nervous with the accolades you've just read out, but thank you.
No, so these are the things you achieve now, so I mean, they're not you. Let's examine elements of producing documentary movies with a touch of emotion, as if it is drama, especially when it comes to reflecting emotional nuances of Yonelisa, Wambi's Township Dream, and Trafficked-Africa. My first question would be, please explain the difference in your 20 years experience when you started filmmaking at OGD Pictures in Nollywood and later relocated to South Africa.
To be honest with you, I've spent about 2 decades in the industry, and I started with OGD, that's Studio Gideon Studio, after my schooling. So then Nollywood, to be precise, gave us that opportunity to be creative and deliver content to reach our audience. South Africa, I would say, like a finishing school for me. You know, working in the big studio, big equipment, advanced technology, and enhancing my growth into the international filmmaking. So that is my experience, and I'm still working on it.
So what are those special peculiarities you could easily dictate in South Africa compared to Nollywood?
To be honest with you, South Africa is a standard filmmaking studio. You have the likes of Hollywood coming there to shoot. You have the people from Europe coming to shoot. And because we shoot during summer, our summer is about 12 hours a day, which is an advantage for us based on time rate to shoot. And we have lovely locations. I think we have one of the best locations in the world. So that gives us that thing. Then I don't think people know this, but to be honest with you, we have the biggest studio in Africa, located in Cape Town. A studio that they built about 3 big ships in it. So you can imagine how big it is. Then when we talk of the gear, which is called equipment, we have standards. You just need to find out the studios we're talking about and the kind of gears they have. You'll be amazed, to be honest with you. You'll be shocked to know that these people have the Hollywood standard. And based on the fact that the industry is well organized. So when you go out there to probably the TV stations to give you money to shoot either a TV series or a movie, there's a standard. You can't go below it. There's no room for you to say, oh, I had to use this. No, you give them budget and you must pay it according to the budget. And when you come on board to pitch for a project, you must bring in a studio that they can entrust. So it's well organized, to be honest with you. It's not just going to be something you just take money, do something that you submit. No. From the scratch, there's a guideline. And once you go through that guideline, obviously you're going to work with the best hands and at the same time out the best product.
That's nice. That means Nollywood has to play up. I regret the fact that Tinapa Studios was built in Calabar, Cross River State. Unfortunately, that studio is no more, so to say.
Tinapa, and I think I visited Tinapa 2005, and I saw a very massive studio, I must confess. But then, obviously, administratively, it wasn't even functional. And the distance was also a problem to most filmmakers because the filmmaking industry in Nigeria, obviously, is in Nigeria, which is Lagos. People will take it extra mile to go down there. But in South Africa, the biggest studio, like I said, as in Africa, is there in Cape Town. And Cape Town is the basement for shooting TV commercials, movies, and series.
I love this movie that you produced. I mean, I had a dream like this young man. I never said, okay, to be more documentary maker to come and make a movie out of me anyway. So I will play first to 6 minutes of Township Dream by Yonelisa.
Close your eyes. Don't you know I'm true? Well, darling, I love you. Oh, yeah. For better or for worse. So close your eyes. Don't you know I'm true? Darling, I love you. For better or for worse. Yeah, yeah. I love you. I need you. I love you. Say that you'll be mine.
Gugulethu is a township just 15 kilometers from Cape Town, South Africa, and often portrayed as a place of high crime, violence, and widespread poverty. Gugulethu ironically can be found on the tourism schedule and has a high volume of international travelers eager to experience local cuisine at the world-famous Mzoli's meat restaurant or take in the culture of one of its many vibrant jazz lounges. This is the township that musician Yonelisa spent much of his childhood.
My name is Yonelisa Wambi. I was born 1992, 5th of December, in a place called Gugulethu. Gugulethu is a township in Cape Town. It's in the Cape Flats. It's a place when I was growing up, it was filled with gangsterism. So, because Gugulethu is like a township. So townships are a place where black people really were dumped, kicked out of nice places, areas like Camps Bay, Sea Point, whatever. Then they were put there to stay there, and it was like minimum housing. I don't know how to explain it, but like not really big houses or whatever. But it's a place where you find joy, find pain, and find a hell or a lot of other things. But yet, me growing up in Gugulethu, it was a key point in my life that shaped me to be who I am, because in Gugulethu I found a school called Indonga Music School, which is a jazz school that a great artist named Boki Glass, who's a bass guitarist, was playing with Mike Perry, and they were doing the struggle music like apartheid, talking about apartheid and the effects that it had on the people. And me finding them in that place, it was like I found my sanity, because it was like an escape place where I can go every day and learn music and got taught how to behave and act as a musician. Even though sometimes, I mean, they were not the greatest of examples in the school, but they groomed us and shaped us to be artists and never to give up on our craft.
Like many other residents of the Cape's township settlements, he was raised alone by his mother in a shack made from corrugated steel sheets and plywood, more oftenly referred to as a shanty. His mother grew up during the apartheid regime, a political and social system in South Africa that enforced segregation and racial discrimination against people of color. The streets of Gugulethu were harsh and dangerous during these times, and the well-known saying "dreams to die" was born from the lack of government support or assistance with infrastructure.
And there I met a lot of other young artists like myself, but along the way, I mean, some others fell off, some others got involved with gangsterism, some others got involved with drugs, some others got involved with certain other things. And Gugulethu is a place, if you don't have direction, you can get lost in between the whole confusion that goes on there, because in townships there's not much going for the youth, so it's up to yourself whether you are going to be a statistic or you're going to go and do something different. So Gugulethu is a place really where if you are really driven, you can make something out of yourself. But if you're someone who has lack of a backbone and direction, you can end up being in the wrong crowd, doing certain things, even dying, because I mean, it's Gugulethu, it's Menenberg, it's Heiderveld, it's Nyanga, it's KTC. It's all surrounding this one place, and all these places are known to be not that pleasant of places to live in.
Even still today, many fall by the wayside or become involved in crime. Life expectancy in these micro-cities is among the lowest in the world. But this was not the destiny of Yonelisa Nomgima Wambi, who is more fondly known by residents as the Guitar Boy. Yonelisa found his passion for music at an early age.
I'm gonna be a star one day, you're gonna see me on TV. Yeah.
Can you compare key issues of ghetto dreams in your first movie, King of Shita, in Lagos, Nigeria, to Yonelisa's Wambi's Township Dream, Gugulethu, Cape Town, South Africa?
Yeah, sure. If you've seen both movies, you realize that there are two different dynamics that played out. One wanted to escape the ghetto to become a better person, and the other one was there to assume power. He was power conscious. He lived in the ghetto. He never saw life outside the ghetto. All he wanted was just power. So it was like a power tussle for King of Shita. But in respect of Wambi living in Gugulethu in Cape Town, which is also like a ghetto, he knew for him to achieve his dream, he had to leave the ghetto.
Yonelisa could have come out of Ajegule, where the likes of Garishoki and the rest of them came out. The big difference is that your King of Shita didn't attach himself to any profession.
No. But for King of Shita, the talent he felt he had power, and with the help of his physical power, he could acquire everything he wanted, both politically and financially.
You produce a reality show, which to me is quite different from the drama, the fictional drama they usually do. Though it could still be scripted anyway. But then, when we saw people in reality shows trying to mark up and win, would you compare that? How would you compare that to King of Shita and Yonelisa's Township Dreams?
Working on a reality show, obviously, you'll be working for a big studio because reality show entails money. So it's only the big studios that can do it. I was opportune to be the producer and at the same time the creative director. So for me, it was just like to me it was just a job to be done. It was not something that I would call my passion, but it was just a job that was going to pay my next bill. And all they needed from me was just my creativity, and I gave it to them. But talking about King of Shita and Lisa's Township Dream, that was more like passion. I'm not sure people will be aware of this, but I personally funded it. Yeah. King of Shita was my first project, and after shooting a TV series called E for Koga Studio, 52 episodes, I was well paid. So I thought then at that point, the only way to start building on my dream was to shoot. And I had a relationship with the Shita community. So it took me about 3 months to do my whole survey, and I came out with a story. So I personally funded King of Shita, and it came out successful, which I'm very proud of myself, because at that point there were other challenges, and I thought, what will I do? Should I go for it or should I just wait? And I went all in. Same thing
So
with
my,
Yonelisa. For the Township Dream, I actually discovered Yonelisa in the reality show.
oh,
Yeah, that was 6 years ago. And I saw something in him. I saw a dream. I saw someone that was passionate. And we spoke for a while. But at that point, I won't lie to you, I was still trying to settle myself in South Africa. So the only thing I could do then was just to encourage him. So 6 years later, I gave him a call. He answered my call, and we shot a documentary.
so you were impassioned when it came to the reality show, but you were passionate with King of Shita and Yonelisa's Township Dream.
Yeah, those are my babies. King of Shita was my first child, and today it is still deep and dear to me. Then for Yonelisa's um, dream was something I promised him, because I'm someone that I love to keep to my promise, and I kept to it.
Okay. I will play 7 to 14 minutes of Township Dream.
And from the first time he picked up a guitar, he felt a deep connection that continues to shine through in his Afro soul and R&B fusion style music. We have been closely following Yonelisa's journey, an inspirational story of a young boy who grew up on the mean streets of Guguletu, but refused to accept his predefined destiny.
I mean, music in where I come from is looked as why you choose music. There's no career in music. There's no way you can make it. There's no way you can earn money because musicians die broke. It was seen as something that no, you can't do that. You have to be a doctor. You have to have something that has more credibility and has like bring an income and help the family instead of you pursuing a passion or something that is different from other people, what they do. So I didn't have really someone that I looked up to in my community, yet I always found in books and in TV people that I looked up to.
A lot of people see disabled people or people living with disabilities as incapable, and they themselves also feel they are actually disabled. Their human capabilities or capacities have been so limited that they will go to the top in bridges and in Lagos and start sweeping to beg for money. Whereas some of them who have hands could actually maybe learn shoemaking or something like that, But so what hope against limitation is good. The people in your movie walking the path had compared to Lisa's declaration, the sky is my limit. Do they really, the people you work with or the people you try to portray in South Africa, do they have hope as much as Lisa has?
I would like to first probably explain a little about people living with disability.
Okay.
You see, there are two kinds of people living with disability. You have the people that are physically challenged and mentally challenged. Lisa's case, he was able to subdue his challenges and went beyond with more of him thinking of what will I be if I don't achieve this.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, he also had challenges, both financially and mentally, but he was able because he kept doing it. That's just one thing about when you have challenges physically or mentally. People that do have these challenges, one thing I learned when I worked with an NGO is you don't really pity them, you show them love. And with the help of love, they are being encouraged. So for Yonelisa, saying sky was his limit at that point, was he had people like me and others that kept encouraging him. And he knew there was going to be a dream for this. He was going to realize his dream. So for now, Lisa is thinking beyond that very sky and is thinking of going to something really, really, really deep and nice.
Okay, so let's connect it like this. In your film, Walking the Path, in maybe one sentence or two, could you summarize what the main character's hope was and whether he actually went on to achieve anything he ever dreamt of?
Yes. In Cape Town is disability friendly.
Oh,
In the world, I think it's the fourth or fifth city that is disability friendly. So they have, well, I say, they have a space for people with living with disability. For instance, in every company, you must have one or two people living with disability in your office, compulsory. It gives you a higher advantage to bid for contracts. So when I did the documentary Walking in the Paths, it was about Gavin. Gavin and I used to work in an NGO, and when Gavin told me his story, I was touched to the point I said I was going to do a documentary on him. Gavin just finished secondary school then. I wanted to go overseas for schooling. So he bought a bike, which he rides to work for part-time, and he had an accident, and he lost his legs rather. But guess what? Gavin still went on, studied, well educated, now married, but he has been on wheelchair ever since. So people living with disability and people that probably would like say living without disability, there's not much difference. It's your mindset.
beautiful. Now, I wonder how his disability created conflict for him in the movie. I mean, because I can see that your passion for such people will always raise you or move you, motivate you to, produce. I mean, if you dramatically, if you compare that to somebody who is able but has an internal conflict, and he has to overcome his internal conflict and evolve into the person he is supposed to be with capacity to be a human being, just like it happened with Gavin. It's a dramatized documentary. Good. Now, so in terms of emotions, in terms of evolving the character, how did that happen? If you were to like do a drama, a dramatic movie.
Yeah. To be honest, my character, my documentary were the actual people.
Okay.
So it was easy for them to relate with the script because I wrote the script based on their lifestyle.
Okay.
I remember when I went to interview Gavin's mother and she played back what happened. At that point, she was crying.
Mm.
So she never thought any good could come out from Gavin. But seeing who he is today and see the kind of friend he has, which someone like me, she was joyous. She was very happy. So when I plan to do a project, most of my projects, I don't know if you've seen all, it's not far from reality. I
And they
don't
are
want
led and they are led by compassion. I give it to you.
that's just it.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, now, how did your cumulative experience motivate the founding of Artsy Lens Studio for TV commercials, drama, and documentary movies, and reality shows? How did your cumulative experience push you? Like I probably wake up in the morning and say, okay, I have talent, I can write a song, I pick up a guitar and begin to write a song. How did your cumulative experience actually push you? And so, okay, to put it this way, what really motivated you, considering your experiences?
It has been my long time to open a studio, but definitely have your challenges and everything. So when I got to South Africa, I knew it was going to be a bit difficult because you're talking of breaking into the big studios. So what I did, I worked with some Indians, Germans, and Asians. So by the time I gained a bit of experience from them, and I knew I was ready, the only way I could go about it was set up a studio.
How easy is it?
It's not easy, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie to anybody to say just to open a studio and do it. No, it depends on your determination of what you want to achieve. When I had some cash, or rather some basic finance to open a studio, I could have just done something else with it. But I knew that was the only platform that my voice could be heard. So I went ahead, registered the business name, which is Artsy Lens Studio. It was approved after, I think, a week. So immediately they gave it to me. The next thing I did was to look for a space for my studio. But during the period of my early days in South Africa, when I worked in different big studios, I made friends. So I kept telling them about my dream. And by the time I was about to open Artsy Lens, I called on them, and they were my first staff.
Yeah, that's quite a journey. It's actually like a movie. So I would believe that with that mindset of accepting knowledge, agreeing to mutualize knowledge in terms of art of filmmaking, it will be easier for Nigerians and South Africans to tune in. Like you, when you left Nollywood and went to South Africa, you had a mindset to learn, and you call it a finishing journey, a finishing school for you. And look at you, you're a better filmmaker today.
Thank you.
So the question is, will Nollywood be willing, or a few cinema makers be willing, or cinema filmmakers be willing to really collaborate with South Africa?
Yes, the South Africans, to be honest with you, they are willing, because in the world of entertainment, Nigeria is bigger. But in that same entertainment, they are more equipped. They have tools, they have what it takes. But the market is Nigeria.
What should Nigerians do to attract them, and what should they do to attract Nigerians?
Proper contracts, genuine contracts. It starts from there. If you and your company want to work with a company in South Africa, by the time you draw out your contract, they read it and they see your vision. In reply, they'll give you a budget. And in your reply, if you said yes, that this budget you can handle it, trust me, you get the best quality of what you want. If you watch Queen Sona in Netflix, that was being, it's a Netflix original. They shot a proper project. You could see a proper budget being spent, because online, a director's fee is online. It's not going to tell you something different from what is online. A DOP's fee is online. If you're looking for a DOP in South Africa now, before you get there, just go online. They will give you different rates. They'll say, okay, if it's 2 days, this is the amount. If it's a week, this is the amount. If it's a month, if it's a series, this is the amount. And grades of experience. So you go in there and you choose what you want, and you look for the person. And they have agency that take care of crew. In Nigeria, we don't have agency for crew. As a director, I'm part of an agency. So if they need me, they call my agency, and my agency tells them if I'm free or not. So everything is being structured over there. So if they want to work with you as well, they will want you to come being structured. So you can't just come like a businessman and say, take money. No, you don't work that way. You have to go through the T's and the C's and agree to all the terms. Once it's agreed, you sign. You tell them what you're bringing to the table. Maybe you're coming with your actors and your money. They will come with the gear, which is the equipment and every other thing you want. If Safe House, that was done by that the lead actor was Denzel, can be shot in Cape Town, then you can shoot any project there. Trust me. Just come with the mindset of coming to do a proper project. Because when you come with a mindset like, let's do something backdoor, to start with, an average South African will not want to do that with you. A big studio will not do that with you.
The right thing to do anyway.
Just do the right thing. Your mindset of doing the right thing and putting a proper pen and paper together, the collaboration is there waiting for you. Look at our artists that go to the States to do collaboration with other artists. You can see, obviously, a proper paperwork was done. So if you can do that with Americans, then why can't you do that with South Africans? Because they will make you understand. They just want to give you a standard thing. So do a proper contract and we'll take it up from there.
I think it's a question of trust. I got to know a woman in South Africa who was befriending an Igbo guy.
Okay.
I sent her an idea. She loved it, I said, you must commission me first before I start work because I was speaking from Nigeria. But then I also work for an attorney in Gauteng, a half Indian attorney, or maybe she's Indian. And we signed contracts, and I co-wrote a 9-page script, and I was paid my money. So it's about trust.
Because we human beings will not like to be rude to each other using the word trust, we just make you understand, put a contract, because the contract is going to rope you if you go against it. For instance, if you tell me I'm starting a project by May, and by June you've not started, you pay me for May. So the contract will discipline your way of doing things.
Yeah. Why haven't you completed Essay Girls, which you shot in 2018?
Like I told you, I've done that, but when I posted it at that time, I had not finished. But as I talk to you right now, it's good to go, and it's going to the big screen.
I'm still talking to the compassionate filmmaker, Jato Ehijator. What's the meaning of Ehijator? It sounds very powerful in my mouth.
The actual pronunciation from the state I come from, though in South Africa we call it province, the actual pronunciation is Ehijator, meaning God let me live long.
Oh, that's right. Well, I usually ask my interviews about their big secrets. I don't know what your big secret is, but I seem to think that your big secret, which you spelled out anyway, which you might explain, is to focus on blending African and South African production with cutting-edge cinematography to share unique African stories. How would you ever do that, given the state of the industry today due to pandemic? How would you again relate to the world now that they are coming? You're a formidable filmmaker, and for the fact that you make films to make statements about human challenges, it gives you a leverage over the average stories we tell in Nigeria in films.
Okay, I would say most of my movies are movies for advocacy. If my movies naturally relate with human challenges in any form, it could be someone suffering from something internally, something physically, or probably someone that has fear of hope.
Okay.
So most of my projects, if not all, is advocating and twisting the story in the extent that people come over any challenges they have in life.
I think your message is your front burner, first of all.
Thank you.
Your message is in the front burner. Well, I've been talking to the compassionate filmmaker Jato Ehijator, who has been in South Africa for, I don't know how many years you've been in South Africa. 7 years, and has practiced movie making the way it's supposed to be. I've seen his jobs, I've seen his interviews, and I want to thank you so much for coming along. I hope that very soon I'll be joining you two out in the world to make movies.
All right, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on Film Talk, and you can check us out at www.filmlab.ng/filmtalk, or you can go to our website www.filmlab.ng. You can see us on Facebook, on Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, bye-bye.